Hey guys, what's good? JJJBoxing / Power Up. I'm back. It's been a while, and I was gonna make a video earlier in the week about it, but I've just been busy and stuff. But I had to make a video on this, the Lomachenko versus Haney fight. Good fight. Everything was going good until it wasn't. Boxing did it again. Robbery. And I know a lot of people have the opinion that if it's a close fight it can't be a robbery. And I used to kind of think like that until I really thought about it, and I really feel like even if round by round it's scored and the fight's close, I think the story of the fight should come into question, the overall fight, and not just the round by round, but the overall story of the fight, who was dictating and controlling when the rounds are close. So even though if you score it round by round, it's maybe close, right? I don't hold the opinion that it's not a robbery if the fight's close anymore, because when a fight's close but there's a clear winner in everyone's eyes, that's a robbery to me. If you ask most people and they say who won, I know it was a close fight, but who won? And most people clearly are gonna pick one guy. You got to say that's a robbery then. That's my new opinion on it, because I used to think, oh yeah, 7-5 Lomachenko or whatever, another fight back in the day, Teofimo Lomachenko was close too. You could say round by round, right? That one was a little similar in the sense that round by round it was close, and then Lomachenko, the rounds he won were way more damaging and way more dominant against Teofimo. But I would say Teofimo landed harder shots than Devin Haney did. And Lomachenko did absolutely nothing for the first half of that fight against Teofimo. Whereas in this fight with Devin Haney, he started off a lot faster and did a lot better. But that's a different fight. What I'm trying to say is not just the Teofimo fight, but other fights in the past have been close, 7-5, 8-4 at most. And then say the wrong guy wins, and they say, oh yeah, but I scored it and the rounds were close. But why are we trying to find every excuse to say it was the right decision? Why are we searching for rounds to give Devin Haney? Oh wait, if you gave him all of these rounds, if you gave him all of the close rounds, if you gave him the benefit of the doubt in every situation, then it could have been a draw, or fuck that. Come on. Why are we doing that? If in the eyes of the fans, and you heard it in the crowd, everyone booing, but if in the eyes of the fans, I understand round by round it's close, and that like I said, that used to kind of be my opinion on it. Oh, it's not a robbery if the fight's close, but I've kind of changed when I think about it. You can't always just go by the round by round now. I know that's how you score the fight, but when it's a close fight and the other guy who should win clearly was the winner because he won the story of the fight, he dictated the fight, and his rounds were more dominant, in his rounds he won bigger, which was Lomachenko. That's the guy that usually you say that guy clearly won. Even though if you did score it round by round, you would say that it was close. But that's what I'm trying to say. When there's a clear winner and you don't give it to the guy, that's a robbery. So that's my new opinion on it. It was a robbery. The wrong guy won. It's a robbery. It don't matter. The wrong guy won. I don't care if it was 7-5, which I didn't score the fight when I watched it. I assumed Lomachenko just won by watching it. Just based on the second half of the fight, he controlled it, right? I assumed it wouldn't even have to go to like when I heard the scorecards, I wasn't thinking robbery for some reason. Usually I do. Usually I think, oh, he's gonna get robbed. Like I thought that with Bivol and Canelo. I thought they were gonna rob Bivol, but then they didn't. And then in other fights, I've thought that and I was right about it. But like yeah, like a lot of fights you actually just, that's how bad boxing is, that you just assume that there's going to be a robbery. But for some reason for this fight, I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be a robbery. It didn't cross my mind. Maybe because it was such a good fight. I wasn't thinking about it. And when I heard the scorecards, I think, yeah, that sounds about right for Lomachenko. Because the two scorecards that were wider kind of justified the Lomachenko win. But when, like, that's why I didn't think it was going to be a Devin Haney win when I heard those two scorecards that were, like, way out there. Or that one scorecard, sorry, that was way out there. That's why I thought it was Lomachenko was going to be the winner. And then he wasn't. He got robbed. But, yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the fight. Like I said, I didn't score it round by round. But considering how Lomachenko started off quicker than he usually did, so he won a couple of the first half of the fight rounds, maybe two or three, what I remembered, right? He won a couple of the first half of that fight, and then he dominated the second half, so I really felt like I didn't even, like, there was a clear winner, right? So, and you could see it in the crowd, you can see it in all the media, like I said, why are we trying to find an excuse to, like, oh, if you gave every round to this guy, like, then it could have been a draw. Like, we did that with many fights in the past where we, like, the wrong guy wins, everyone knows it, and we try to fuck around and make these excuses. Why, like, we're trying to justify these judges for some reason. Like I know, like, we don't want to shit on Devin Haney, we don't want to shit on a fighter you like, or you don't want to disrespect, but you got to call it the way it is. Like, I was starting to like Devin Haney, besides the push and everything, and his dad after the fight saying it wasn't close. That was kind of fucked up. But I was starting to respect Devin Haney because he went to Australia twice. He beat Kambosos. He seemed like he's a classy young guy, right? Other than, like, the push, I thought that was kind of out of character. And then seeing how I guess it's not really his fault if the dad's talking crazy, thinking it wasn't a close fight after the Lomachenko fight. But what I'm trying to say is, I know you like a fighter. I know you don't want to you like boxing. You don't want to disrespect any fighters, especially ones you like. But you got to call it the way it is. And Devin Haney didn't win the fight. I know a lot of people are using that thing, oh, you got to take it from the champ, which I think Lomachenko did enough to take it from the champ, to be honest. Like, I know I used to use that excuse too. And in a sense, it is true. You do have to take it from the champ. You should have to do it more if it's an equal fight. But in this scenario, I don't think it was an equal fight. I think Lomachenko was the clear dictator of the action. He was the clear winner. And he won the story of the fight. So I really don't feel like that should have came in account anyway. Like, that shouldn't have mattered. He did take it from the champ. Like, but I've heard people use that in the past, right? Oh, you gotta do more, right? Which he did do more. So I feel like that excuse can't be used. And yeah, like, I really don't think. And then they say, oh, he landed hard body shots. Like, people are saying that, and I know he landed really good body shots, but why is it when other fighters land body shots they don't count? I know someone made a comment on that, and that's kind of true. Like, if it was a fighter that wasn't an up-and-comer, like a Devin Haney, like, that's going to sell tickets, that's a superstar upcoming, they don't give a fuck about the body shots. Like, imagine if that was a guy that no one cared about in this scenario. Imagine Lomachenko was fighting a guy that no one really cared. It was just a tune-up. And they couldn't build the guy. It was just a tune-up for Lomachenko. And he did the same exact result and landed those kind of body shots. Who would get the win, right? Come on. We already know. And so, get all that out of the way. Stop making excuses, trying to find ways. Oh, he won, gave him all the benefit of the doubt. He won all these rounds, and it could have been a draw or maybe 1 point or two for Devin. Like, Yeah, but if you gave the benefit of the doubt for Lomachenko for all those rounds, it would be like 9-3. Like, come on. Like, so. Yeah, and then one of the judges, I forget his name, but he had round 10 giving it to Devin when that was one of Lomachenko's most dominant rounds. So you know it's kind of weird how every single judge favored Devin. Like not, and I know like a lot of people will use that. Another opinion people will say is the fight was so close it was hard to score. How is it that all of the judges have scored it this way then? How can not one scored it for Loma? Like, because I feel like if it was a split decision, it wouldn't be as much outrage, but it still would be. I feel like no matter what, it was going to be, if Loma didn't get his hand raised, it was going to be a problem. And you heard the boos cascading in the arena. So, even if it was a split decision, at least that would have warranted a rematch. But now, it's probably not going to be a rematch. Who knows, right? Maybe Devin don't want that anymore. He's going to move up, but another bad thing for boxing here. Yeah. And then you wonder why, like, everyone, like, we're just going to, they know we're going to come back and watch, but I don't know. I would say don't even buy the pay-per-views anymore. Just stream them free, because, like, why? They don't care about you, right? But, yeah, it's just a shame that the way boxing works, it's all politics. Every sport is a shame now, to be honest, these days. Like, I still watch sports, but you shouldn't even be invested in it at all, really, emotionally, because it really don't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. It's like it's not you out there anyway. It's someone else. You don't really know them personally, so like, but it's irritating to see the right person lost. It is irritating when you see in sports, when you see injustices. So it's hard to it's irritating, but like, I don't know. It's all politics. What can you do? But yeah, I know like you could use the other flip side of the coin, even though I think it did have some things to do with it. Me personally, like I'll get into it, the other side of the coin, why people were outraged. Because people, my personal opinion, I don't know if a lot of people thought like this, but I personally thought Devin was going to do a lot better in the fight. I favored him to win the fight. I actually picked him to win the fight just because his reach, his range, he knows how to control distance usually against fighters. But he's never fought anyone like Lomachenko, obviously, because we've seen what happened. But I think going into the fight, I thought he was going to do the same thing he usually did to all the other previous fighters, was control distance with his range and his size and use the jab, which he didn't do any of those. The thing that he did better than I well, the thing I didn't expect was the body punching, really good body punching. But everything else he's known for, like the jab, the distance, the range, and him figuring out his opponent, he didn't do any of that. So I think the reason why people were more outraged was because they didn't think Lomachenko was going to do as good as he did, and they thought Devin was going to do better, and everyone favored Devin. And Lomachenko's older. He hasn't fought in over a year. The stuff in Ukraine. He's older. He had the surgeries. So people were kind of counting him out. So it's kind of a good underdog story how he won the minds and the hearts of the fans pretty much with his performance. So that maybe influenced the more of why people were outraged more. But it like take that out of the picture. It still doesn't take all those factors out, those X factors out. The right man, Lomachenko, he didn't win. The wrong man won that night. So, but like I said, I could see the outrage why it was more than usual, just because, like I said, Loma was the underdog, and they expected Devin to do better, which I thought Devin did way. I thought Devin was gonna do a lot better, to be honest. I thought he was gonna make it more of a lower pace fight and not let Lomachenko use the angles and get off like he did, but I was wrong. He didn't figure out Lomachenko at all. Would have been better if it was a 15-round fight, because then maybe we wouldn't have got to this. Well, the judges still would have fucked them, but yeah. But going down, take all the politics, all the result. Was it a good fight? It was a great fight. Devin still belongs at that level, but Lomachenko is definitely skills that are unrivaled. You can't argue that. If he was a bit bigger for that division, he would pretty much be invincible, like he was at 130. Like, I feel like, I know people bring up the Salido fight and stuff, but he was still early in his pro career. I'm sure if he rematched Salido later, he would have probably stopped him. But he obviously, other than that, he hasn't had problems with fighters until he moved up. And Salido was, I think, like 2 weight classes above that night. He didn't even make weight. So, yeah, I just... Devin belongs at the level. But Lomachenko is just something special. And the skill is unrivaled, and we've seen it on display. Like, imagine if you took away the reach and the size of Haney, he would have been nothing, to be honest. He wouldn't have even been able to tread water with Lomachenko. Like, he wouldn't have made it to round 12. But his size kept him in the fight. His size and his strength. Other than that, Haney had no answer. And good fight, though. Devin Haney, he did good body punching. But everything else that Devin was known for, he didn't do in the fight. Like I said, he didn't adjust. The jab wasn't there. Lomachenko did what he was usually does with the angles, the combination punches. The left hand was landing, the turning. And he started off quicker than he usually did. So that was better as well. So Lomachenko did everything and then some in this fight. So he exceeded my expectations, especially against the opponent he was up against. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. Haney don't want the smoke again. It's fine. Loma will just fight, I don't know, I guess another fighter. There's tons of guys out there. Shakur, Tank. Maybe they'll make that. But if Haney moves up, I don't know what he's going to do. Because I'm starting to think, people are saying if he gets hit with a left hand by Tank, he might get hurt bad. And I actually kind of agree with that. Like, Tank isn't as, like, the footwork isn't as good, but he's just as explosive as Lomachenko, if not more explosive, because the power. And his timing is probably just as good as Lomachenko, or around the same, right? It's hard to say until they fight. But since he has that power and timing, and I don't know, Devin Haney seemed like he was struggling against the southpaw stance. So, yeah, that's going to be a dangerous fight if he takes that route. Instead of a Lomachenko rematch, he fights Tank. That will be a tough fight. Shakur, though, I don't know. That would be interesting. I think that's less dangerous. Like, but that's still a very tough fight for Haney. So, yeah, either way, Haney's going to have it hard now. Yeah. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And it's Triple J Boxing, Power of Boxing. I'll check in. I'll see you in the next video. See you guys later.